Welcome to day 27 of our December marathon, and today we are going to be grading every single WWE star on the roster. Now, obviously, that's a lot of people. We're doing Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So, yeah, we're going to get right into this one.
Yeah, let's kick it off with AJ Lee, who made her return pretty much in the later half of the year. Where do we want to put her at?
Yeah, I think, she hasn't had too many great matches. The first match with the tag team match was really good. The War Games was sort of a flop. And that was pretty much her 2025 right there outside of her debut. So I'll probably put her with a nice B, C tier.
Yeah, I think I'll put her B tier. I think the more promo work she did has kind of been the carry.
Okay.
And then now for AJ Styles, obviously the big John Cena match this year. He's now a tag team champion with Dragon Lee. So a pretty solid year from AJ. Obviously that start of the year wasn't the best, doing stuff with Logan Paul. But where do you think we put him at?
Yeah, he also had the little face-off with Leon Slater. That was a pretty cool moment after him and Javon had their match. Obviously, the Leon Slater match that he had at Saturday Night's Main Event as well was very good. So a lot of good things with AJ Styles. I'll probably put him one rank above AJ Lee in the A tier, I think.
Alright, yeah, I think I'd probably put him more towards the B tier myself. However, obviously, I think the highs were kind of more high than the lows were low. And then next up, it is going to be Asuka, another person who made a return this year. Hasn't done a lot in terms of winning championships. Obviously, she's a tag team champion now. However, still is kind of just now getting things started.
Yeah, I mean, she hasn't, like you said, had a ton of matches, but she has had some pretty good ones, and she is kind of helping this tag team division out in the storyline where her and Kyrie was really picking up momentum, but they kind of dropped a little kind of thing between them or whatever a little bit, so I will probably rank her B tier, maybe C tier, honestly, but probably B tier along with AJ.
Yeah, I'd also put her B tier. I think her stuff just being more consistently good at pretty much everything now, and one of the main figure pieces of Raw in terms of the women division. But now another person who also made his return this year, and that is going to be Austin Theory as recent of this past few weeks. So yeah, a big debut. Haven't seen much from him, but wherever should we put him at?
Yeah, I think probably just C tier. It was one of those debuts where it was like an expected debut, so our return, whatever. So it wasn't like this big surprising moment or anything necessarily. But if there is another member or something that gets added to the group, I think that will be the big surprising one. However, Austin Theory unfortunately wasn't really that exciting.
The next up is going to be Bayley, somebody who's been in the Intercontinental Championship picture, has also been in the tag team picture, but another person who hasn't done the most amount of things. However, where do we think we put her at?
Yeah, unfortunately, she had the big kind of tag team build up with Lyra to start the year, leading into WrestleMania, and then unfortunately gets cut for Becky Lynch right at the last minute. But she is picking it back up now. She has this new kind of crazy character that I'm kind of 50-50 on if I like it or not. But there has been some good stuff. I'll probably put her in B tier alongside Asuka.
Yeah, I think I can match you there as well. I think with what she's been given, I think it's been very good so far.
Yeah, and her match with Sol Ruka as well recently has been very good. So definitely a shout out for that and all her lodestone stuff that she's done outside of WWE.
And the person you mentioned earlier, that was Becky Lynch. She's somebody who obviously made her big return at WrestleMania, filling in for Bayley. And ever since then, we've seen a new gimmick from her. She's been a better heel than we kind of pretty much ever seen from her. And yeah, some of the best stuff we've kind of seen from her in quite some time. And yeah, very good year. Intercontinental Champion, had the match with AJ Lee. So where do you put her at?
I mean, she could be an argument for S tier, to be honest, because I think her storyline with Lyra was really good. Her storyline with Nikki was really good. Her current storylines are really good. Her matches are good. Her promos are good. Her character work is good. Everything about her has been very good. So it could be S tier, but maybe A tier. I'll let you be the deciding factor on that.
I think I will put her S tier. It's a tough call. I think I will put her A tier, actually. I think S tier is going to be reserved for a very few amount of people, and unfortunately, she's somebody who could make that cut, but I think A will have to do for her.
No.
And then another person who returned this year at SummerSlam, though, is going to be Brock Lesnar. Haven't seen too much of him. He's been, obviously, like I said, at SummerSlam. He had the WrestlePalooza match with Cena, then had the match at War Games. But besides that, I don't believe there's been too much other things from Brock Lesnar this year. So where do we think we put him at?
Yeah, he had two matches, and they were both stinkers in the War Games match and the John Cena squash, so I'm going to put him straight into D tier.
Hey, I cannot be mad at that at all.
And he slipped and fell on his ass twice this year.
But a man who has been the complete opposite of flopping in all of his matches is another man who has not been flopping in all of his matches, and that is going to be Braun Breaker, somebody who has had a great 2025, somebody who's now in the world title picture scene. So yeah, big difference from where we seen him last year. So where do we put Braun Breaker at?
It's kind of a weird one because, he's been in big moments. He's had a ton of matches and storylines and stuff, but I feel like he doesn't really have that one match for me to, like, hold on to and say, like, hey, this is that Braun Breaker match that happened this year that was amazing that you should watch. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they've really had that. Obviously, there's the WrestleMania Fatal 4-Way match, but even that wasn't, like, it really was about the Dom win more so than the match itself, and it was more so about the Dom and Finn being in the match together versus each other rather than Braun Breaker being part of it at all. So, like, I don't really know how to feel about it. He did have gold at the end of the day, so, I mean, he's going to be at least B tier. Is going to be the minimum. You could make the argument for A tier, but I'm probably at B.
Yeah, I think I will have to put him at A just in terms of, like I said, the difference. Obviously, Braun Breaker's a guy we kind of knew would be at the top of the main roster, would be at the top of WWE. However, I think in terms of how fast it has been, I think it's a very good sign. Obviously, when you get paired up with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, it's definitely going to help a lot. But I think it goes to show how much he's improved himself. I think he's got still obviously a lot of things to work on, but this year I think it's been a great year from him. So for me, I would have to put him in A.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. He's done a lot of good stuff, but like I said, only one thing is that he doesn't have that one match to kind of hold on to say, hey, this is what he did this year. But he does have a lot of moments outside of that.
And his teammate has been Bronson Reed throughout the entire year. Somebody who has also made big strides in elevating himself. But where we put him at?
Yeah, I'd probably put him right there with Braun Breaker in A tier, honestly. If he's there, then I feel like he needs to be there after getting a big win over Roman Reigns, debuting as part of this new faction with Paul Heyman and everything. I feel like just his kind of rise has been great this year, being where he was last year compared to now. I feel like it's been very good. He's had some good matches as well. So I think if Braun's at A, I think he should be there too.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I probably myself would probably put him B. I think, again, just Bronson Reed hasn't been able to hit the heights that Braun Breaker has. Obviously, it's been kind of more the booking telling that in terms of skill or anything like that. But, yeah, I think Braun Breaker would probably edge him out a little bit more. But I don't mind him putting him at A either.
Yeah, I just have him there just because I feel like, Braun Breaker, he was expected to be in this position. Mm-hmm. People wanted him in this position. However, Bronson Reed was kind of like a surprise, especially being that his last feud before joining Seth Rollins' group was actually a feud with Seth Rollins himself. Mm-hmm. So you didn't really expect that to happen, but it did, and people definitely loved it.
And then next up, it is going to be Brutus Creed, one half, obviously, of the Creed brothers. A year hasn't been great for them. Obviously, they had some of the stuff at the start of the year with Chad Gable, and then when he entered into the Americano phase. However, pretty much everything since then hasn't been too great for them. We haven't even seen them as often, so I don't remember the last time we really seen them. So, yeah, not a great year, but where do we put him at?
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to be C or D. I mean, he kind of has to be somewhere around there. Probably C for me. I'll just put him a step above Brock just cause.
Yeah, I probably would put him D if I'm being honest, but I think obviously the few things he has done has been pretty good. Obviously his kind of captain of that team was Chad Gable. Started the year with the El Grande stuff, however, took his time off, and then now it's Ludwig Kaiser, obviously. But Chad Gable did do a very good job with that gimmick. So where do we put him at?
Yeah, he has. I mean, he unfortunately didn't make my top 10 match of the year list, but he definitely was in the top, 12 with that Vikingo match that he had in AAA. That was one of the best matches of the entire year, and I really, really enjoyed that one. So I'll put him pretty high because he has done a lot of good stuff. Unfortunately, his injury kind of will take him down a little bit because we haven't seen him in the second half of the year. But I do think B tier is probably appropriate for him because that match was really, really good with Vikingo.
Yeah, I think if Chad Gable had a full year, he probably would be in that A tier. But in terms of just obviously the entire year into account, unfortunately, the months he's missed has been a little bit too much for me to put him in A. So I think a B tier is fine. He's somebody who I think obviously, if he stayed Chad Gable, I think could be just as big of a star, but with the Americano gimmick, at least it's something for people to latch onto.
No.
But one of your current world champions, the world heavyweight champion, CM Punk, obviously a huge year being obviously CM Punk. He's always going to be at the top of the picture, but where do you put him at?
Yeah, I mean, he's a two-time world champion this year, so that's, going to raise his stocks up a little bit. He did main event WrestleMania finally this year, so that's really good. Mm-hmm. He's had the John Cena match. He's had a lot of good moments, a lot of good matches, a lot of good promos. But I do feel like we haven't seen the best version of him, and we will see that in 2026. So with that being said, he's not gonna be S tier. isn't gonna be A tier, but he will be top of B tier. I mean, you could put him A tier, I guess, but I feel like those people in A tier, maybe outside of Bronson Reed, has done more than him. But if you want to put him A, I definitely wouldn't argue.
Yeah, it's a very tough one. Obviously, I think throughout the entire year it hasn't been amazing. We haven't seen too much of him. Obviously, he's been a guy who's pretty much featured at least every few weeks at that rate. But I do wish we got a little bit more of him, a little bit more different opponents as well. Obviously, it's been a lot of Seth Rollins and the Vision stuff. So I think I can agree at B, but I think there's also a lot of people who will put him at A or even S tier as well.
Yeah, I mean, he like I said, he main evented the night one of WrestleMania. He did have the Elimination Chamber match as well. He was also in the Royal Rumble to the final, 10 or 8, whatever it was. So he has had a lot of achievements this year, but once again, I just feel like he could have done more. Maybe the WrestleMania match should bump him up to A alone because it was really good. But yeah, I'm gonna put him in B.
Yeah. But next up is going to be Cruz del Toro, somebody who hasn't got obviously too much TV time this year, but another tough one to kind of rank. Where do you put him at?
Yeah, I mean, he's done some work into AAA. I know you don't necessarily watch a ton of AAA. I do, though, and he has done some good work there. So I will not put him in D tier, and I will put him in C tier.
Fair enough, like I said, like you said, I don't watch too much AAA, but man, I do watch a lot of, and when I do watch AAA, is probably with him involved somewhere, and that's gonna be Dominic Mysterio. One of the best years from such a young talent, has been amazing this throughout the entire year. The main focal point of pretty much Raw every single week. So yeah, where do we put him at?
I mean, he's definitely going straight to S tier in my opinion. He is a 2-time Intercontinental Champion. He is a 1-time AAA Mega Champion. He might have even won a Tag Team Champion at some point during the beginning part of this year or something. It wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, he's done a lot of really good stuff this year. Storylines, matches, mic work, everything about him has been really good. So I love Dom.
Yeah, another amazing year from Dom. I can definitely see that continuing into next year. And another man I hope his success continues next year is going to be Dragon Lee, the other half of Team AJ Lee. Yeah, great. Obviously, into the year has done quite a bit of stuff in AAA. I know that. However, the start of the year was a little bit slow for him. But where do you put him at?
Yeah, I think it's been kind of long awaited, this big kind of rise of Dragon Lee. People have been wanting to see more action from him in the ring from the WWE for a long time, and we're finally getting it with AJ Styles, which I think is a really good position for him to be in as a part of that tag team, of course, being with a legend like AJ Styles. So I think this is really good for him. At some point we'll likely see a match with him and AJ, and I think after that, that could be something that kind of takes him off and kind of lets him steer in the right direction for 2026. But a lot of good stuff from him this year. Probably his best year that he's had in WWE, so I will put him in B tier.
Yeah, definitely like B tier is probably what I would put him as well. Yeah, again, somebody who I think has all the skills to possibly be a good top start in WWE. It's just a matter of when they actually give him the opportunities. No. Another guy who has had a good year is going to be El Grande Americano. I don't know if this is going to account for Ludwig Kaiser or not, but yeah, or he doesn't include for Ludwig Kaiser. So El Grande Americano by himself, obviously a very interesting year, whether how you sit on the gimmick. Has put on a lot of good matches though. So where do we put him at?
Yeah, I've absolutely loved the whole El Grande Americano thing in general. When there was Chad Gable, for whatever reason, it felt a little bit more awkward whenever it was him. But now that it's Ludwig Kaiser, it does feel more fresh, and it feels like, I don't know, he just does it a little bit better, in my opinion. But yeah, I love it. It's funny. He wrestles amazing as well, of course. I mean, he's wrestling all over the place as well. He's wrestling in NXT. He's wrestling on Raws. He's wrestling SmackDowns. He's going to AAAs. So, yeah, he's had a really good year. He arguably could be A tier, but I will settle it down and put him in B.
Yeah, I think B tier I think is a good spot. Obviously, he has definitely improved a lot, especially like you said with the Ludwig Kaiser adaptation of it. But yeah, a very interesting year from El Grande, and we'll see how it continues next year. A guy who hasn't had the best year in the tag team division was one half of the War Raiders, and that is Eric. Yeah, like I said, a very interesting year. Haven't seen too much of him since their Mania loss in the few weeks after that. But where do we put one half of the War Raiders?
Yeah, they went into WrestleMania as champion, but unfortunately did not walk out of WrestleMania as champion. So I will go ahead and put them in C tier. If it was this year that Ivar and Obafemi had that really good match, then maybe, I would bump this up. But I don't think that was this year.
And then one of your favorites is up next, and that is going to be one of the few members of Judgment Day, and that is Finn Balor. Where do we put him at?
S tier. No, but he has had a really good year. He's a multiple-time tag team champion. He's had really good matches. The Fatal 4-Way match. He's also had a John Cena match, part of his retirement tour. He was in the Royal Rumble. He did a lot of really good stuff this year in general. So I'll probably put him either B or C. I think either one is fine.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put him in B. Obviously, he hasn't done a lot of winning, which is something that Finn Balor has been known for as of late, pretty much for the past few years now. So yeah, obviously, if you would get a few more wins and book a little bit better in terms of just winning and more accolades, he would obviously be a little bit higher. But yeah, somebody who's still Mr. Consistent on Raw and one of the biggest focal pieces of the show every single night. So yeah, another solid year from Finn Balor. But a guy who we've seen a little bit at the start of the year, seen a little bit in the middle of the year, but has kind of just did a lot of more kind of back behind the scenes stuff in terms of like backstage segments. But that doesn't mean Grayson Waller had the stuff with Austin Theory, but that kind of took a weird ending. So where do you put him at?
Yeah, we could put him straight into C tier.
Yeah, I can agree with that. But next up is going to be the man who retired John Cena and tapped that bitch out. And that was going to be Gunther, the ring general. Obviously a great ending to the year, but where we put him in terms of the entire year.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of hard to rank because you could just put him in S tier because of the Cena stuff. But obviously the knock against him is the Jey Uso losses and losing the world title, the Pat McAfee match, the Goldberg match. Whether you think it's a positive or negative, that's up to you, I guess. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of things to count against him. There's a lot of things to count with him. But I love Gunther, and I think S tier is just where he has to go.
Yeah, I think if I were not biased, I probably would put him probably in the A or B tier, like I said, in terms of the entire year, but he is the GOAT. He retired that wimp Cena, so yeah, I'm glad we can put him in S tier again.
Yeah, I mean, at least had a decent match with Jey Uso at WrestleMania. He at least had a decent match with Goldberg and Pat McAfee, and then had an amazing match with John Cena, an amazing match with CM Punk, and a few others in between there as well.
And then next up, like I said earlier, the second half of the War Raiders, now is going to be Ivar. Again, obviously, same thing we said for Eric can be applied for Ivar.
Yeah, right in the C tier.
Yep, I can agree with that. And again, another member of the American Made, and that was going to be Ivy Nile. Yeah, a pretty solid year. We've seen her get a little bit more featured into the Intercontinental Championship scene. However, hasn't been able to get that gold just yet, but has a match with Maxine Dupree, I think, soon, so she could get a big one there.
Yeah, I think she'll have probably a better 2026 than it was 2025. She hasn't done a whole lot. I'll probably just put her right in the C tier, unfortunately, because I do think she probably has the talent to be a lot higher than that. But I think I think she just has a really good 2026. Let's leave it at
that. But somebody who is at the top of the game this year is obviously Io Sky. Yeah, I just obviously having some of the best matches in terms of everybody in all of wrestling this year. Been one of the biggest stars across wrestling, and yeah, it's an amazing year from Io Sky. I think this is an easy one in S tier.
No.
Again, another member from Judgment Day is going to be JD McDonough. Where do you put him at?
Yeah, I mean, he could be in B tier, could be in C tier. I'll let you be the deciding factor there. But yeah, he's had a really good year. Actually had a John Cena match as well, so that's really good for him. He's got the last F5, at least the last F5 on the Raw. But yeah, really good stuff from him.
Yeah, I think I'm going to put him in B tier. I think everything that Finn did, he was right there. So, yeah, I can slide him with Finn. But a man who is very talk of the town this year, and that was going to be Jey Uso. A lot of stuff has happened this year for him. So, where do we put him at?
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate him as much as a lot of people online might hate him, where they just kind of drag everything that he does. I don't enjoy his matches that much. I don't really enjoy the eating that much either. But I do like Jey Uso as a character. He is back now with Jimmy Uso, at least for, right now at the very moment. But, I'm not going to put him S tier. I'm also not going to put him A tier. So I'm probably thinking B tier. If I was more of a fan of him, I'd have him higher, of course. But, I'm just not.
Yeah, I think personally, this is my list. I would put him in C tier, but kind of putting biases aside and kind of putting some other things aside. I think B tier is in terms of everything he's accomplished. The change he's made to being one of the biggest stars is obviously very hard to do, and he's able to do that. He's been able to hold it for quite a while now, so I'll give him a little bit of his flowers here. But yeah, I think B tier for Jey Uso isn't too bad. But next up is going to be Joaquin Wilde.
Yeah, go right in there with his tag team partner in C tier.
And then next up, again, another half of the Creed brothers, Julius Creed.
C tier.
And then another member of the Kabuki Warriors, that's going to be Kairi Sane.
Now, she had a great year. She is someone who rose a lot. I feel like last year she wasn't really getting a whole lot of reactions from the crowd when she would do certain things, when she would do her finisher, she would have matches, when she would make her entrance. However, now that's completely changed, and I feel like she does get a lot more reactions from the crowds nowadays, and she has had better matches and better storylines, and everything about 2025 has been better. So I'm thinking she could be A tier, but probably B tier alongside Asuka.
Yeah, I think B tier is fine. I think A tier is definitely something that I think is a good argument for her to have. I think when you look back on it, it's definitely a very good year from her. But I think next year it could be an even better year for her. But next up is Kofi Kingston, who got a tag team championship run this year. However, hasn't done too much outside of that.
Yeah, he seems to be headed in the direction of another Usos feud, so that's something to be excited about a little bit at the very least. But probably, I mean, you could put him B tier for sure, but I'd probably put him C tier.
Yeah, I think C tier is where I put him. Unfortunately, with how the heel turn kind of went and finished out, hasn't been the greatest. Wish it would have went a little bit better. But yeah, next up though is gonna be LA Knight, your favorite wrestler. I know that.
Yeah, definitely not my favorite wrestler. He's a little bit higher than Jey Uso on my list of favorite people. However, I don't think he's higher than B tier. I think he's still B tier. He hasn't really reached that A tier quality for me yet. Maybe it'll be next year, but it probably won't.
Next up is going to be Liv Morgan. Obviously, she missed a portion of the year, but when she has been around, it has been pretty good pretty much throughout the entire time. So, yeah, where do we put her at?
Yeah, she had the Rhea match to start the year, the Royal Rumble, I believe the Elimination Chamber, as well as WrestleMania. And then she came back, obviously, for the Dawn match. So, really good stuff from her every time she was around. So, probably right there in A tier. She's a star now. Enough said.
And then next up, Logan Paul, the complete opposite of everything you just said.
Not the biggest star in the WWE, Logan Paul. Nah, but I do really like him with the vision. I think this role fits him a lot more, being that guy that could kind of be in the faction, take the pins, be the kind of dumb heel in the ring and all that sort of stuff. So I do really like him in this storyline that he's currently in. But I probably will just put him right there in B tier. If you want to put him C, that's fine too, I guess. But I do feel like, C tier.
Yeah, I think this year he had any type of big match or any type of really good match, I could slide him into B tier, but this year we have not gotten any type of big match this year from Logan Paul in terms of just amazing match quality.
Yeah, I think 2026 would be a lot better for him, to be fair. But yeah, like I said, I like the Vision storyline at the very least.
And then a man that Logan Paul wishes he could be, and that is me, Ludwig Kaiser, a man who's obviously had a bit of an interesting year, obviously taking up the El Grande role, but has succeeded in it and has kind of won fans a lot more over than what Chad Gable was able to do for whatever the reason that may be. But Ludwig Kaiser, where do we put him at?
Yeah, ranking Ludwig Kaiser as Ludwig Kaiser, I think he would have to be C tier based on, the amount of matches that he's done, but obviously El Grande Americano we already ranked and he's in B tier. But yeah, so I guess C tier.
But next up is going to be former Intercontinental Champion Lyra Valkyria.
First Intercontinental Champion, Lyra Valkyria. But yeah, probably A tier, honestly. I mean, she's done a lot of good stuff. She's had a lot of success this year. She's had PLEs. She's done a lot of good stuff. So I think Lyra is someone who's proved to a lot of fans this year that she's going to be a star.
Yeah, and then from the first Intercontinental Champion to the current Continental Champion is going to be Maxine Dupree.
Yeah, she's a tough one to rank because she hasn't really had like a big match or anything like that where it's like something to hold on to really. But she has had improved matches and she has had improved promos, and this is the best version of Maxine that we have seen yet. So I probably would put it like towards the top of B, honestly. She's really good.
Yeah, I think the improvement she's made this year will put her into that B tier. I think she's against somebody who could be a lot higher in the upcoming years. However, I think B tier to kind of, in terms of the entire year, is I think a solid spot for her. But her tag team partner at points has been Natalya, so where do you put her at?
Yeah, hasn't done pretty much anything this year, to be honest. She was in the tag team tournament before WrestleMania. But that's pretty much all I could remember, so probably C tier.
Yeah, I don't mind that. Another legend, and that's me, Nikki Bella.
Same thing, probably C tier.
And then another member of Alpha Academy. And another member of Alpha Academy, Otis.
Yeah, I'll probably just put him C tier. He at least had the I Show Speed moment at the Royal Rumble. He's had some backstage segments. He's had some matches here and there. I believe he had a Gunther match earlier this year that was decent as well. But yeah.
And then next up, Penta making his big debut and has been around pretty much throughout the entire year and has been amazing pretty much ever since joining WWE.
Yeah, I mean, all his matches kind of have a floor to it that's pretty high, like a 3.5, 3.75, something of that nature. He does really good matches. He's been very, very consistent. Unfortunately, an injury kind of deterred his reunion with Rey Fenix that maybe would have maybe put him in S tier, but because of that, I will put him in A tier.
Yeah, I can agree with that. A tier has been Penta has been amazing throughout the entire year, like I said, and yeah, I'm glad that he's been able to translate his style in AEW and other companies to now into WWE pretty much seamlessly. So yeah, good job from Penta this year. Another guy is gonna be Pete Dunne.
Yeah, we could put him in D tier, I guess. I mean, he really hasn't done pretty much anything. He's doing the radio character or whatever right now, but I don't really like that either. So.
Yeah, not a great from Pete Dunne. Another guy I wish has had bigger moments and better moments. But somebody who's had a lot of good moments this year has been Raquel Rodriguez, being able to step up as the main woman of Judgment Day this year while Liv Morgan was out. And yeah, a good year from her, but where do we put her at?
Yeah, best year of her career. Won the tag team titles this year. Was in great storylines this year. Had good matches as a single star. Had good matches in the tag team division as well. As you mentioned, part of a great faction has been long around now. So I mean, I want to put her in A tier. I'll let you be the deciding factor if she makes it to A tier, but that's where I have her.
Yeah, in terms of the names that are in A tier, unfortunately, I can't put her there. I think when I look at match quality, I think that's going to be the main differential between her and some of the people in A tier. However, I think she has had some really good matches this year, and she has improved a lot with her in-ring quality. And she has been somebody who I wouldn't be surprised if she does end up winning the world champion at some point next year. However, I think right now I'll put her in B tier. But again, like I said, somebody who could definitely rise up the ranks.
No.
And then next up, one of the GOATs, Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, hasn't really done a ton this year. More so like storyline things with the LWO, with Dom, with John Cena, things of that nature. But as you mentioned, he is one of the GOATs, so I'm not putting him lower than B.
I can match that as well. Yeah, Ray, I think when he has been around, has been good. Obviously, had a little bit of time away. So, yeah, the year I wish could have been better for him. But another year who has been great, and that's going to be Rhea Ripley. Yeah, where do you put her at?
Yeah, I mean, she's S tier. I was gonna say A tier, but at the same time, she had 2 matches of the years on my top 10. She had great storylines. She'll likely be a tag team champion at some point soon. So yeah.
Yeah, I can't argue with any of that. She's obviously at the top of the game right there with Io Sky, like you said, having both the matches with her as well. So I think that speaks volumes to why they are in this. But next up, another person who has a great year, especially the start of the year, and that's going to be Roxanne Perez.
Yeah, everything about her year has been amazing in my opinion. The start of the year in NXT versus Julia and Stephanie and Bayley and that whole build up there was all amazing. Then she gets called up to the main roster, attacking Io Sky with this weird tag team with Julia. And now she's part of the faction with the Judgment Day. So she's had a tremendous year. She was in all the PLEs essentially, all the big matches. I want to put her in A tier, and if you're cool with it, then that's fine. But B tier is probably the top of the list with her.
Yeah, I think I don't mind her putting in her in A. When I look back at the start of her year, the performance she put in the Royal Rumble and in the Elimination Chamber, I think is something that kind of goes a little bit forgotten about just because it kind of is so long ago, it feels like at this point. But yeah, I think those performances have really stuck out to me throughout the entire year. So yeah, a really good year from Roxanne. I hope next year she can win some singles gold and kind of continue what she was in NXT as the prodigy. So yeah, a good year from Roxanne, but again, I hope next year is just as good.
Yeah.
And then another guy who debuted at the Raw after WrestleMania is Rusev, and yeah, has had a pretty solid year in kind of taking him everything he's kind of gained in AEW, bringing that over to WWE now, continue his good match quality, has been a very consistent, good wrestler, some of the better matches of the night on Raw. So where do we put him at?
Yeah, definitely when the WWE re-signed him, I was sort of rolling my eyes at him and stuff like that. But he's had definitely proved me wrong. He's had good matches, good storylines, good promos. Everything about him has been really good, honestly. So I will put him B tier.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I said, he has had a good transformation now from his previous time in WWE to now back in WWE. But another guy who's been at the top of the game this year has been Seth Rollins, former Money in the Bank, former World Heavyweight Champion. And yeah, obviously a big year being one of the main pieces of Raw. So where do we put him at?
Yeah, we could be S because he has done a ton of the good things this year, but probably A tier.
Yeah, I think I'll also put them A tier. I think S tier in terms of just also goes into how good they were as well and how much I enjoyed them. I haven't enjoyed them as much as the guys or the people in S tier. Some of those people I think have been amazing pretty much every single time we've seen them. Whereas stuff around the times after time I have been getting a little bit more bored of them. But in saying that, still has been a great year for him. But yeah, another guy I've been enjoying a lot this year has been Sheamus. We can see a bit more recently with the John Cena stuff along with Rey Mysterio. So where do we put him at?
Probably B tier. He's had a pretty good year.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Another woman who's been at the top of the game has been Stephanie Vaquer. So where do we rank her at?
I mean, could be S tier in terms of someone who's brand new, just came into WWE, won multiple world titles, won mid-card titles, done a lot of really good stuff. So yeah, S tier for me, but if you want to put her A, that's fine.
Yeah, I think I'll also put her S tier in terms of in-ring quality. She's somebody who's obviously always going to be at the top. And yeah, she proved that again this year. But next up is me, Tyler Bate.
Right there with Pete Dunne in D tier, unfortunately.
And then next up, Akira Tozawa.
D tier.
Next up, a former tag team champion. Former tag team champion Xavier Woods.
C tier.
And then to finish it out on the Raw roster is going to be Zoe Stark. Yeah.
C tier because I feel bad for her injury.
But now going over to the SmackDown side of things, let's kick it off with Alba Fire.
D tier.
The next up is going to be Aleister Black, another guy who's made his big return this year.
Because he baited us with that Cody face-off, C tier.
One half of Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley.
One tag team gold. Had a top 10 match of the year for me with that 6-way ladder match. C tier.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
And then Alexa Bliss, a former tag team champion as well.
I don't know. She's kind of a tough one. Could put her B, could put her A, could put her S. She's kind of anywhere, honestly, because of the amount of tag team work that she did and revived that division alone. So, but probably B tier for me.
Yeah, I probably agree with there as well. I think, obviously, Charlotte has projected everything she's done, but I enjoyed Charlotte a bit better, whereas Alexa Bliss, I think, has been the worser half of that tag team, but it's not saying much because they have been pretty good throughout the entire year. But next up is Angel.
Yeah, it hasn't really done a lot on SmackDown, but it's done a little more stuff on AAA, so probably C tier.
All right, and then again, going to the Street Profits, starting with Angelo Dawkins.
I'll give him B tier. Once again, had a match of the year contender with that 6-way ladder match.
Somebody we haven't seen too much is Apollo Crews.
C tier, maybe D. Yeah, I guess D tier actually. It kind of has to be D.
Yeah, hasn't done too much, if anything, this year. But next up is Axiom.
Could be A tier, but probably B tier.
Yeah, I think B tier. I think the end of the year hasn't treated him too well. Obviously, had the big match with Sammy and Gunther kind of the middle of the year. But yeah, again, somebody who I think next year we'll see him higher up again. But we have Berto up next.
He has S tier tattoos, but unfortunately a C tier year.
And then next up, B-Fab.
Really rose a lot this year. I feel like she kind of is starting to wake people up about her a little bit more. But unfortunately, I don't think she woke us up enough because I'm still going to put her C tier.
B-Fab, more like C-Fab. But next up is Bianca Belair.
She's a tough one to rank. Hasn't really done a lot. Obviously, she's done Elimination Chamber. She's have a match of the year. Well, yeah, top 10 match of the year at WrestleMania. She's a tough one to rank. Could be S tier, could be A tier, could be B tier. I think I will land in A though.
Yeah, I think A is fine. Obviously, I think with what we've had gotten from her was S tier potential. However, with the time away, I do agree, kind of slipping her into the A tier instead. But next up is Candice LeRae.
Love Candice LeRae. Gives you a consistent, good match anytime you need her. Unfortunately, she did get dropped for Lash Legend as Nia's tag team partner recently, so I'm kind of worried about where we'll see her in the women's division moving forward, but I will put her in C tier.
I can agree with that. A man who just won the United States champion is going to be Carmelo Hayes.
Well, you just spoiled it for a lot of people this Friday. I'm not going to do that. But yeah, we could put him, I mean, considering that win, we'll put him A tier.
But next up is going to be Charlotte Flair, obviously a former tag team champion.
Probably a step above Alexa Bliss. I will put her in A tier. She is a Royal Rumble winner.
Next up, Chelsea Green.
Absolutely love Chelsea this year. A lot of success this year. I'll put her in A tier as well.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And next up, Chris Sabin.
C tier, I guess, wherever his tag team partner is.
But next up is me, Cody Rhodes.
A tier, unfortunate.
Yeah, I think this year definitely it was a downward year for Cody Rhodes. Obviously, not being the main focal point for a lot of the time with Cena being around, but yeah, definitely a guy who I'll expect to see back in the S tier next year.
No.
Next up is Damian Priest, though.
I don't know. B tier, I guess, just a solid, in the middle of the pack sort of guy.
Next up, Dexter Lumis.
He killed the tag team division, so D tier.
Somebody who's probably going to end up hurting himself in his upcoming match is going to be Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, there's 3 stages of Hell match. Is very exciting. But yeah, let's put it A tier? B tier, unfortunate. B tier.
Yeah, unfortunately, Drew, with the year he had last year, it felt like we were in for a big 2025, but unfortunately haven't been able to get that. But yeah, next up, Elton Prince, though.
D tier, unfortunately.
And then Eric Rowan follows him.
D tier.
And then Julia.
Ooh, another tough one to rank because she did win the United States Championship on SmackDown. Didn't really have a great run with it. However, on NXT, she was a world champion to start this year. She's had really good matches. Basically her entire run at NXT were great matches. So kind of a tough one to rank, being that it's kind of a 50-50 split. So probably B tier. If you want to put a C tier, I guess that's fine. But I enjoyed her more than a lot of other people.
Yeah, I think B tier is fine for. I think a lot of her matches, like you said, have been very consistently. There's like a kind of a good range where she's always going to have at least a 3-star match, and yeah, she's been able to do that throughout the entire year. So yeah, I have to give her some type of credit. Another man who has been on a great run has been Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah, I think this is the best span of matches that we've seen from any wrestler this year. Not saying he's had the best year this year, but just as far as, matches every single week being the best match of the night every single time. Obviously, considering you spoiled it already, he has had put over Carmelo Hayes, which is something that people have wanted for a very long time. I mean, we could argue S tier because he has put in the work. I felt like his body transformation has been crazy as well, seeing him as jacked as he is. Yeah, he could be S tier, but probably A tier.
Yeah, I think we'll see him in S tier next year, but A tier I think we'll do for now. Obviously, since the comeback, though, has been absolutely amazing, and I'm glad he's been able to showcase what he's able to bring, and I think he's somebody who, again, like I said, could easily be S tier next year and should be in the world title picture as well. The guy who has taken a little bit of a downward spiral since the middle of the year has been Jacob Fatu. Obviously, he has taken some time away as well, though, so where do we put him at?
Yeah, I mean, he's someone who people were very excited about whenever he first entered, and they kind of held that momentum for quite a while in WWE, but unfortunately, once they kind of introduced them to Solo, and that's kind of split sort of happened between them, and it kind of went downhill from there. So I will put him in B tier just because of that.
Then next up is going to be Jade Cargo.
Another tough one because, I haven't really enjoyed a lot of her matches necessarily, but she has been very successful. She has been a good storyline. She has had a couple of good matches at the very least. Her Naomi feud was very good. What are you thinking?
I'm kind of thinking B, just because I think in terms of, I think she still has improved quite a bit from what we've seen from her last year. Obviously, it's not a huge jump and as big a jump as you kind of expected her to be at, but she still has done a lot of good stuff. The stuff with Naomi was still really good, and obviously that's going to be the main talking point of her year is going to be the Naomi stuff, but I think everything outside that has also been pretty solid as well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Then another guy who hasn't had as good of a year, though, has been JC Mateo.
Yeah, I just can't get behind almost anything he does. D tier.
And then the other half of the Usos, Jimmy Uso.
You can go right there with Jay, honestly. He's had a pretty good year, obviously less successful than him, but I just enjoyed him more than Jey Uso.
And another member of the Wyatt family is going to be Joe Gacy.
D tier.
And then another member of the DIY faction, Johnny Gargano.
Honestly, I'm gonna go B tier for Johnny Gargano. He had a really good tag team match. He was a tag team champion this year. He had a really good Ilya Dragunov match. So yeah, the B tier.
And then a guy who unfortunately missed quite a bit of the year, but was on one of the best runs at the start of the year in the end of last year, has been Kevin Owens. Obviously a tough one to rank just because he's missed so much time, but when he was around, it was some of the best stuff we had at the moment. So yeah, where do we put him at?
He had a top 5 match of the year for me on my list, so he's definitely not going to be in C or D for me, but I do think B tier is pretty fair.
Yeah, I think if he had just another month similar to what Bianca had, he would be in that A tier. But yeah, Kevin Owens, when he does come back, I hope he's at where we seen him when he left. So yeah, good start of the year for Kevin Owens, and can't wait to see him back one day. But next up is going to be Kiana James.
I mean, D tier, she hasn't really done anything outside of managing Julia.
And then next up, Kit Wilson.
D tier.
And then one of the newest signings to SmackDown has been Lash Legend.
Yeah, B tier for sure. She has had an amazing year. Even in NXT, she's done really good stuff there. Unfortunately, her faction split up, so that kind of sucks. But she did go on to be on the main roster, so I think it worked out for her at the end of the day.
And then next up is Meechin.
She's a tough one to rank because I really do like her, but it seems like every time she does get a match, she's just losing them over and over and over again. She's had the really good match with Chelsea, the kind of, I forget what the name of the stipulation of the match was, but she gets kind of power bombed into the dumpster. Really good stuff there. But probably C tier.
Yeah, I think if she has had a bit more opportunities and was kind of given a chance with the United States Championship, kind of when it was floating around between Julia's first run and then Chelsea after her run ended. But yeah, kind of wish she kind of got that title picture. But I think she still has had a pretty consistent year. But next up is the other half of the Street Profits, and that is Montez Ford.
Yeah, right there with his tag team partner in B tier.
And then it is Naomi up next.
I'm going to put her in A tier. She's had really good promos, really good storylines, really good matches, won a world title, cashed in a Money in the Bank briefcase, so good stuff from her.
And then next up, the other half of Fraxium, Nathan Frazier.
Yeah, wherever Axiom is, B tier, yeah, let's put him there.
Alrighty, and then it's going to be Nia Jax.
Had one of the worst spots of the year with that Royal Rumble kind of big elimination thing this year. That was very stupid. Obviously not her fault. It's kind of a WWE thing more than her. But probably C tier.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. I think with the stuff she's doing with Flash Legend could be really good, but that's something I would probably see more of into next year. But next up is Nikki Cross.
D tier.
And then former, I guess, member of the Chelsea regime was Piper Niven.
I love Piper Niven. I'm going to put her C.
Yeah, I can agree with that. The man who should have been at John Cena's farewell tour but sold out was Randy Orton.
I'll put him... I love the Joe Hendry match, so B tier.
I won't argue that because he is one of the GOATs. But next up is Rey Fenix.
Less exciting than Penta, had less achievements than Penta in terms of, winning matches and having matches in general. So probably one step below him in B.
Yeah. To be fair, does have a better match of the year contender in terms of the TLC match at SummerSlam compared to Penta's year, but I do agree at B tier though. A man who's going to be another hard one to rank is going to be Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I mean, he was on my top 10 match of the year with the triple threat at WrestleMania. He won to Bronson Reed, lost to Bronson Reed, did War Games, lost that too actually. I mean, he could be anywhere, but I'll probably say B.
Yeah, I think B's fine just because he, like we said, he's such a hard one to rank because he can fall anywhere from S tier because when he is around, it's a big feeling type of thing. But with how much you do see him, it feels like a D tier type of wrestler. So yeah, a really tough one to rank, but I think B tier is fine. And next up is going to be R-Truth.
I guess C tier, just nice and simple.
And then next up is Sami Zayn.
Started the U.S. run, had the John Cena match. Outside of that, I mean, hasn't really done a lot to be honest. So, might be a C year for Sammy, but I guess I'll put him in B.
Yeah, I think B tier is fine for him. I think if Carmelo and Ilya Dragunov are in A tier, I think he can't be too far behind, kind of kicking off the United States Championship run. But next up is Santos Escobar.
Yeah, I love Santos, but unfortunately hasn't done a whole lot of stuff, so I will put Santos in D.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I wish it felt like we were going to see more of him after his contract situation, and it felt like something was going to happen there, but unfortunately, it seems like nothing has came to be just yet. And next up is Shinsuke Nakamura.
He's had some surprisingly good matches this year. Some little sneaky ones on Raws and SmackDowns, but I will put him in C.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think he still has some gas left in the tank, but it feels like we're in the later half of Shinsuke's better days. But next up is Solo Sikoa.
Really enjoyed a lot of his character development and character work this year. I love funny Solo Sikoa. I think him being this big kind of dominating sort of heel is kind of the wrong direction to go in. But I think him as like a baby face, fucking just funny guy on the mic and stuff like that, I think that's the direction to go. But I love Solo Sikoa. He's had a really good match with Gunther this year, so I will put him in B tier. But I will put none of the others in B tier from his faction.
Yeah, I think I probably would put him in C tier myself. But yeah, for what you said with everybody else, I agree. It's gonna be very low. But where do you start off with Tala Tonga?
He squashed my goat Ray Phoenix, D tier.
Then Tama Tonga.
I like him more, C.
But then we have The Miz up next.
I mean, at the end of the day, after Miz does stuff with people, it does help them out. Whether it's a small way or a big way. Melo did the thing with him. Now he's United States champion. Whether that's correlation to that or not, who knows? But I would put him in C tier.
Yeah, I think Miz obviously has done a few decent things this year, and I think Carmelo's obviously going to be the biggest thing and the best thing he could possibly do. So yeah, I think C tier is fine right there. But next up is former world champion Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, I mean, she went on a crazy long undefeated streak this year. I believe it was like 200 something days or something of that nature. So really good stuff from her. But unfortunately, match quality wasn't really there. I don't know if she's A or B. I'm leaning more towards B.
Yeah, me as well. I think when we got to that middle part of the year, or middle part of the championship reign, things kind of felt a little bit stagnant. It felt like we weren't getting anywhere new for her, and doesn't feel like she was elevating herself. But yes, definitely a good run for her. Hopefully we see her back sometime soon to kind of be around the women's U.S. Picture, or go back after Jade Cargill. But next up is the other half of DIY, Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, I'll put him in B tier as well. Had another amazing match with Ilya Dragunov. The storyline with Ilya Dragunov, the sort of build up to that match was very good. So yeah, I enjoyed him.
Next up, Tongaloa.
D.
And then up next is gonna be Uncle Howdy.
D.
And then up next to finish out the SmackDown roster is Zelina Vega.
D.
I probably would put her C, to be fair. I don't think she's as bad as D tier.
Yeah, if you want to, that's fine. But she broke Chelsea Green's nose, so fuck that.
But now kicking it off in NXT, we're gonna kick it off with Adriana Rizzo.
Honestly, I really do enjoy Adriana Rizzo. She does a lot of really good work. Now that the family's over with, hopefully when she comes back, she could have some more developing storylines and things of that nature. But she did have an injury this year that kind of set her back, so I will put her in C.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think stuff she's been kind of a consistent figure of the brand, like difference between NXT and TNA. So yeah, definitely a good year for her, and somebody I think we'll continue to see a lot in TNA. But next up is Andre Chase.
D tier, I guess. He hasn't really done a lot.
Yeah, I haven't really enjoyed the stuff with Kale and other buddy. But yeah, hopefully Andre Chase can kind of find his feet again next year. But next up is Ariana Grace.
The newly turned heel Ariana Grace kicking her father in the nuts on TNA recently, having this new kind of thing with Stax, obviously her current real life boyfriend. But they're doing a lot of really good stuff. Always enjoyed her character work, her promo. She's pretty funny on the mic, but now she's taking on this more serious role. Hopefully we can see another side of her that's more serious and kind of dominating in ring. But I will put her in C tier. I do believe that she probably could even be B tier, honestly, because she has had some pretty good matches, but I think C tier is more appropriate.
Yeah, I think if she falls down the Chelsea Green route, I can definitely see success from her going that route and being, like I said, the next Chelsea Green type of wrestler. But next up is Ashante the Adonis.
Yeah, I hate that he got released. He's an amazing wrestler. Honestly, I feel like they underutilize him more than anything that he's done himself. But I do like Ashante, but D has to be D tier, I guess.
Yeah, I think, like you said, he has the potential there, but unfortunately never took advantage of that. But next up is going to be Blake Monroe.
I've definitely enjoyed it and a lot of other people this year. Obviously, our highlight of the year is going to be in AEW, actually, with their Hollywood ending match. I mean, that should maybe put her in A tier alone, to be honest. That's the match of the year. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm going to put her A tier, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I think, it's just when you have one of the best matches of all time, especially in the women's division, I think it says a lot, and I do agree that she has still continued that success in WWE, but obviously not to the degree of what that match was.
Yeah.
But next up is going to be Brynlee Reese.
Unfortunately, injured at the current moment. Hasn't done a whole lot, so I will put her in D tier.
And then next up, one half of OTM and Bronco Nima.
Been gone pretty much the whole year as well. They kind of don't seem to be with Jada Parker anymore. I'm not really sure where they stand with that. But yeah, I'll put them in D tier.
And then one of the many members of this new NXT Invaders on TNA has been Brooks Jensen.
Yeah, I mean, I want to like Brooks Jensen, but every time I try to buy into his matches, he doesn't really sell me on it good. So I'll put him in D.
Yeah, I think he has the potential again, but hasn't been able to show just yet. And another member, I guess, of that group was Standing Chax Lorenzo.
Yeah, I honestly really like Stacks. I'll put her right there in C with Ariana Grace. Kind of fitting, of course. But yeah, I really like Stacks, honestly.
And I guess we continue that with another member of that group in Charlie Dempsey.
Same thing with him. I enjoy Charlie Dempsey. I hope he gets more opportunity in the following weeks.
And then 1/4 of Dark State has been Cutler James. Hasn't seen too much from him in particular, but obviously being part of the group, they've seen a lot of success in NXT, and I guess he is technically a member of a tag team champion.
Yeah, I mean, he's the least interesting person of the group for sure. I'm going to go ahead and put him in D tier.
I can agree with that. But one of the better members of the group has been Dion Lennox.
Yeah, I mean, he could be B tier, but I'm still going to go C.
Yeah, I can agree with that. A man who's had a great year this year, though, was Ethan Page. So where do we rank him at?
I'm going to A tier. He's had an amazing year. He's had great matches, great promos. He's redefined his character completely from what he was in AEW, and he's been very successful at doing it.
And then next up, one of the more dominant years from somebody in NXT has been Fallon Henley. So where do you put her at?
Yeah, I've really loved all the work from Fallon Henley this year. Great matches, successful, has won titles, part of a great faction, as you mentioned, with JC Jane and Lainey Reed, formerly Jasmine Nix, before she got unfortunately released. But yeah, I mean, I've really enjoyed it. She's had A tier matches, but she probably lands in B tier.
Yeah, I think unfortunately being kind of the second person of the faction is what's gonna hold her back. But when she does able to be the number one, I think she will shine a little bit more. But next up is gonna be Hank Walker.
He goes C tier, I guess. He's been successful at the very least, and I did enjoy him at certain points.
And then next up is Izzy Dame.
I'm not sure how much I buy into her heel character as much, but I guess C tier.
Yeah, I think, again, somebody who I think does have the potential to climb up these ranks. But yeah, I think kind of finishing out this year with Tatum Paxley has been a good finish. But next up, we have one of the worst wrestlers of all time in Jackson Drake.
Yeah, I absolutely love Jackson Drake. I love Swipe Right. He's the current Evolve champion or ID champion, whichever one it is. I think it's the Evolve champion. But yeah, he's done a lot of good stuff. I am looking forward to him being officially in NXT. They've kind of teased him here and there. He's had 1 or 2 matches here and there. But I do think when he's officially part of that roster, he'll be a very exciting part of that. And he'll be probably one of your better North American champions in recent memory. So I will put him in B tier.
All right. Like I said, I don't know too much about him. I don't like him from what I have seen, so I'll take your word, I guess. But somebody who I do know a lot about is JC Jane. Obviously, a former double champion, TNA Knockouts, and NXT World Champion. So a great year from her. Where do you put her at?
Yeah, I mean, just this year, she has won 3 world titles, so I think that alone puts her in A tier.
I can agree with that. I think there's even an argument to put her in S tier. However, obviously being on the Io Sky and Rhea Ripley and Stephanie McCurr is a very hard level to reach, and she unfortunately didn't just meet that. But next year could be there.
Even though she did beat Stephanie McCurr for that NXT World title.
And then next up, though, is going to be Jada Parker.
Yeah, someone who I think I was super excited for her this year because she did come in at the Royal Rumble. So I was like, oh, they must really enjoy some Jada Parker in the WWE if they're putting her in this position over a lot of other people like Soruka and things of that nature. So her getting that spot made me think, okay, well, when she comes back to NXT, surely she'll have like this big run. She'll win a title or something of that nature. Maybe she'll go to TNA, do some cool stuff there. But we've really gotten none of that. She's had really good matches, and there's been moments where they start to heat her up, but then just kind of simmers back down, and we don't really see the big payoff from what they've been building. But I love Jada Parker. I think she could be a S tier person at some point in her career, but unfortunately with the booking that they're giving her currently, they are not giving her the direction to lead that way. But I will put her in C tier.
Yeah, I think you pretty much said everything I wanted to say. She's somebody who I think does, like you said, have the potential to reach that be an A tier. But yeah, I think next year we could see the rise of her. Now that we might see a few more of the top women leave the women's NXT roster. But a new guy on the scene has been Jasper Troy, your current NXT Speed Men's Champion.
I don't really like Jasper Troy. He's supposed to feel like this big monster, kind of like how Obafemi feels, but he just doesn't really give that energy like Oba does. Obviously, that's very hard to give that kind of energy because it's just different from him. But he's kind of just not fitting right now, so I'm gonna say D tier.
Yeah, D tier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's somebody who I think has done a little bit of improving throughout his matches, but yeah, I think D tier is fine for him. But a man who's going to be the complete opposite of that has been Javon Evans.
Yeah, I mean, he could arguably be S tier, and I'd be completely fine with it, but I don't think I'm going any lower than A tier for Javon Evans this year.
Yeah, I think, like you said, there is an argument for S tier, but I will put him in A tier. Unfortunately, not being able to win any of the big championships or a championship at all this year is probably going to be his big setback. But a man who has recently joined the NXT roster is going to be Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a WrestleMania match with Randy Orton. He's had stare downs and stuff like that and interactions with Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble. He's been a TNA champion. He's had terrible booking in TNA, unfortunately. That's kind of led to the downfall of him, and I guess they did it for a reason considering he's here now. But yeah, kind of a weird year for Joe Hendry, so I'll put him in C tier.
Yeah, I think he can't be too much higher than The Miz, but yeah. Next up, there's somebody who I did really enjoy her year, has been Jordan Grace.
Yeah, I'll put her in B tier. She definitely could have been A tier if she had a little bit more success, won a few more matches or something of that nature, but B tier is definitely appropriate.
And then next up is going to be Josh Briggs.
I loved his storyline that he had going with Inamura. Unfortunately, that had to come to an end once he went back to Noah. So, I don't really know where to rate him. I'm thinking C, maybe D.
Yeah, I think I'll put him in C. I think he's somebody who I like. I think he has the potential to be good, but unfortunately can't be consistently great. In the tag team division, he was able to showcase a little bit more. I think if he continued that route, it would have been a lot better year for him. But now, like you said, with Inamura gone, unfortunately has taken a little bit of a step back. But next up is going to be Carmen Petrovich.
Yeah, she had kind of a good start to the year where they're putting her in some good positions to kind of have some success and to get some spotlight time and TV time and to win a few matches here and there. However, they kind of stopped that, and you kind of only see her down backstage now with kind of the Ren QCC group of people. So I guess D tier.
Yeah, I think it like when I first kind of got introduced to her, I felt like she was somebody who WWE wanted to be one of the next big women on NXT, but unfortunately hasn't hit that mark just yet. But again, somebody who I think with more time could reach that top role. But somebody who is at the top of NXT is going to be Kalani Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put her in A tier, honestly. I think she's done a lot of an amazing work. She's a TNA World Champion. She's a North American Champion. She's had amazing matches this year. I believe, was she on Evolution? I don't remember if she...
Yeah, I think there was a multi-women match, maybe?
Yeah, I feel like she was there in some capacity.
If not, she definitely should have been, definitely...
the Battle Royal, that's what it was, right?
Yeah, probably that, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, she's had a great year. I loved her. She had a great TNA World Championship run and kind of helped them kind of hold down the TNA division in a time where they didn't really have a good kind of champion to put it on, really. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's Danny Luna right there, but they don't seem to want to do that, so I'm just kind of not including her in that. But yeah.
Next up, though, is going to be Kendall Grace, somebody who's had a very big rising as of the past few months, or past month, really. Pretty much since NXT Deadline, the weeks kind of leading into that. But, yeah, obviously doesn't have a great year in terms of the entire year, but a great ending of the year.
Yeah, I heard about her, fortunately, a little bit earlier than everyone else did. I was kind of putting you on Game Terms, being like, hey, this girl is something serious and evolved. Like, I've seen 1 or 2 matches from her, and she's actually the truth. and then finally she kind of picked up a little bit more momentum, had 1 or 2 matches on NXT, and now all of a sudden she won the deadline match this year, and now she's gonna go on to potentially be a world champion going into New Year's Evil. So a lot of good stuff from her. Amazing in-ring talent, amazing in the promos as well, and just everything that she does has been really good. So could be damn near S tier, but I think I'll simmer it down some more and put her in like could be A, but probably B.
Yeah, I put her in B tier. Obviously, I think, like I said, when you take the entire year to account, I will have to drop her a little bit more. But yeah, she's somebody who I think has all the potential in the world to be in that S tier one day, as soon as probably next year as well. So yeah, pretty good ending of the year for Kendall Gray. So good luck to her next year. But next up is going to be Lainey Reed.
Yeah, she's someone who came in like probably around the halfway point of the year this year and kind of got included into that Fatal Influence group after taking out Jasmine Nix. So yeah, I really like her. Her in-ring is amazing. Her promos are great. I love her character work. I love everything about Lainey. I think she's going to be a star in NXT once this kind of next crop of NXT people get called up to the main roster. So I'm going to put her right there in B tier with Kendall Gray.
Yeah, I think I probably would put her C tier myself, but she's somebody who I do want to watch a little bit more. She's somebody who I think does have a lot of consistently good matches, and obviously being paired up with JC Jane and Fallon Henley is going to be something that will tell how much they really want her to be up top with the top women. But yeah, I think she has potential in the world to be one of the next big women in NXT. But next up is Alexis King.
Definition of mid, we'll put him in C.
Yeah, next up, though, is going to be Lola Vice.
B tier, I guess. If Lainey's there, then she should be there.
All right, and then next up is going to be Luca Crucifino.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with him. I don't know where he's even been, to be honest. After the Stacks and Tony D stuff ended, I don't know where he went. So I guess D tier.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time we've seen his face. Hopefully, I guess it's soon. But next up is going to be Lucien Price.
Yeah, I mean, part of OTM once again, so he could be right there with his tag team partner, unfortunately.
Next up, Miles Bourne.
Had a way better year, improved a lot, showed people who he is, and kind of woke the division up on like who is Miles Bourne and where he can be and where his potential can be. But with that being said, I still am not really buying him a whole lot, so I will put him in C.
Yeah, I think, again, like you said, he does have the potential to get higher, but I think C tier this year is a good spot. Has been putting a lot more opportunities, and I think we'll kind of see him continue to be that into next year, but I think C tier is fine. But one of your other favorite wrestlers of all time is Nikita Lyons, so where would you like to rank her at?
Yeah, I mean, she's going to go straight to D tier. I just do not enjoy almost anything that she does.
Next up, though, Nico Vance.
Same thing, D tier.
Then next up, Noam Dar.
Very unfortunate injury time. He seems like every time he starts picking up some momentum, it gets chopped from beneath him. So I want to put him in like B tier or something, but unfortunately it's a D tier.
All right, but next up, a man who just went against Cody Rhodes and went face-to-face with Drew McIntyre as well is Obafemi, your current world champion.
Yeah, I mean, I think actually I'm going to go ahead and put him in S tier. I think with the momentum that he's carried throughout the entire year and the rise that he's had throughout every single year that he's had, he's kind of took steps and steps and steps, and I feel like this year he finally didn't take a step. He took a big leap, getting that big John Cena kind of moment, being able to be part of that tournament, having that match with Cody Rhodes. I think he'll have an amazing 2026, and I'll definitely see a lot of world titles in his future.
And then next up, one half of the tag team champions in NXT is Osiris Griffin.
Now we could put him C tier. I enjoy Osiris Griffin. I feel like he's just one of those big guys, and I feel like NXT needs one of those. So I think he'll be a better piece in 2026, but his 2025 will be pretty good as well.
Next up, former world champion is gonna be Ricky Saints.
Probably B. If you want to put him A, that's fine, I guess, but I think B tier.
I think I haven't enjoyed him as much as some of the other top guys in NXT, especially compared to like we have in Javon and Ethan Page and Oba. Has had a really good year and has improved since he first joined in WWE. But yeah, I think next year we'll see him a little bit higher or kind of in the same realm. But my favorite member of Dark State is up next, and that'd be Saquon Sugars.
Yeah, you could go right there in C tier with Osiris Griffin. Really good stuff from him. Hopefully we see more in 2026.
Next up, your favorite group leader is Shawn Spears.
Yeah, Shawn Spears, very funny. I enjoy Shawn Spears. I like him in this faction, kind of helping these people out in his group. Obviously, I don't think it's working, unfortunately, but I'll put him in C.
C tier, I can agree with that. But one of both of our favorite wrestlers is Sol Ruca.
Yeah, I mean, she could be S tier. I mean, she won quite a bit of titles this year. Speed champion, North American champion, maybe a double North American champion. I don't really remember, to be honest. But she has had a lot of success, has had a lot of amazing matches. Just currently came off a match with Bayley at Saturday Night's Main Event as part of John Cena's final match. So really good stuff from her. I love her. You could put her S tier, but I'll probably put her A.
Yeah, I'll probably put her A tier as well. But I think she's somebody who, again, will easily be S tier in her future years, and as soon as probably next year as well. So yeah, good year from Sol Ruca, and hopefully, like I said, that continues the next year. And next up, the other half of Hank and Tank, and that is going to be Tank Ledger.
Yeah, you could put him in C tier with his belly boy's brother.
And then next up is Tatum Paxley, former NXT Women's World Champion.
Unfortunately, B tier.
Yeah, I think obviously we kind of wanted her to kind of actually have a run with the world champion, but the story with Izzy Dame unfortunately kind of stops that. So yeah, unfortunate for her, but I think she could win it back next year. Another guy I hope wins a big champion next year is Tavion Heights, who's up next.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in B tier. He's someone I'm very, very excited to be the future of NXT. I definitely see a world title in the very near future for him.
And then somebody who just went into business for themselves and screwed everything up for the NXT locker room has been Thea Hale. So yeah, I think we have to put her in F tier.
Yeah, I absolutely love Thea Hale. She is one of my favorite people. I know she's kind of annoying to some people with her on-screen character and that sort of stuff, but I actually really enjoy it. I think her in-ring is amazing, especially last year with her match with Roxanne Perez. That really woke me up to who Thea Hale was. Yeah, I love her. I would put her in B tier, but I know most people likely lean more towards C.
Yeah, I think I'll put her in C tier as well. I think she's somebody who I wish did a little bit more this year. I think she's had moments of potentially getting into that top woman scene, but it feels like it's kind of been a little bit start-stop for whatever reason that may be. But obviously now a North American champion. Probably won't last too long, but a very cool moment for her nonetheless. But next up is a recently returning Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah, we could put him in C tier as well. Hadn't done a ton this year, and then the few sort of opportunities that he did have weren't really amazing.
And then next up, former NXT World Champion and former TNA World Champion, Trick Williams.
Yeah, I mean, he could go right up there with the rest of those NXT people in A tier, I believe. He's really woke people up. I know I'm saying that sort of a lot in this video, but that's just the truth with a lot of these people in NXT, where they, you kind of have an expectation of them, but when they start past that expectation and become a TNA World Champion and kind of have the success promo-wise and in-ring quality-wise as he did, I think you have to rank him pretty high.
And then next up is going to be Tyreek Igwe.
Yeah, I mean, we could go ahead and put both of them into the C tier. I do believe, their stuff with Wes Lee was pretty interesting. Right now, I don't really know what they're doing with this TNA gimmick, but I am excited to see where they go in the future. I think they could be tag team champions for a very long time once they do eventually win them in NXT.
And then next up, the interesting Wendy Chu now in Evolve. Where do we put her at?
Yeah, I mean, she sort of wrestled all over the place from TNA, Evolve, NXT. So, yeah, she's a very interesting person. I do believe she even did some reality of wrestling stuff as well. So, yeah, I mean, I enjoy her in-ring stuff. I just don't really enjoy her character. So, I guess I'll put her C tier because of that.
All right, but then next up, getting close to the end here now, is going to be Ren Sinclair.
Yeah, I love Ren Sinclair. She's another one of those people who some people might find annoying with her character or whatever the case may be. But once again, I love it. I really like Ren Sinclair. I think her in-ring is really good as well. I think her promos could sometimes use a little bit of work, but I do think that she is one of those funny people that I will love for a long time in WWE. So you could put her B tier. That's where I would have her.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. I think, again, somebody who I wish was a little bit more seen in ring action. Obviously, she does have quite a few matches every few weeks, but, again, I think she's somebody who, again, could be a potential world champion, but will probably be a North American champion next year, and somebody who I can't wait to see more of going on. But to finish out our list is going to be Zarya.
Yeah, Zarya, kind of a tough one to rank. Hasn't done a ton, but is someone who I really love. I think her in-ring work is amazing. She just hasn't had the opportunity to show it off yet. But with that being said, I will put her in C tier.
Yeah, I think B tier. I'd probably put her in B tier. I think obviously hasn't had as many opportunities as Sol Ruca, but being along for the story with Sol has been obviously a big key part of it. Obviously had the tension between them at one point, but yeah, I think C tier is fine, I guess. But I think next year we'll definitely see her higher.
Yeah.
But I guess that will wrap it up for our video. Obviously, a lot of people to get ranked here, so obviously not too much time to talk about everybody. But yeah, very solid list. But yeah.
Yeah, this was a fun video, obviously, ranking all these people, grading all these people, I should say. This was obviously based off just this year, the success they had, the in-ring quality they had, and just how much we enjoyed them in general. So just this year, for anyone who's kind of questioning some of these picks that's on here. But we appreciate you guys for watching. We are at day 27 of our December marathon. We are going to the very end here, so we appreciate you guys for watching. Tune in tomorrow for another daily video. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.